Tony Bones. Hello, mate. How are you? Hope you're doing well, Tone. Yeah. Now then, children, gather round. Uncle Louie's got a story to tell. Right, okay. Just got rid of those little bits of pictures. So, yeah, Shib. Oh, Shib, USDT. I've used USDT. That's USDT is called Tether. That's essentially what they call a stable coin, a blockchain coin, which is pegged to the dollar. No, I'm not being rude, Tony. It's a genuine thing. Pegging a pegging a stable coin, which is approximate to the value, pretty much to the value of the US dollar. It's very stable and is used in crypto for buying and selling of crypto rather than using other crypto coins because they're not so stable. So that stability gives a reasonable level predictable price. Okay, so USDT, look into it. Something called stable coins. So it's a good thing to look into. They're better in a way than using fiat currency, i.e., normal cash currency, like, for example, sterling. Right, so what have we got here? Here we have, over the past few weeks, Shib. Okay, going back to, let's have a look, 10th of May 2021. Right, so what's happening with Shib? As you can see, it's come up quite high and has been sort of declining a little bit, hasn't it? Now I'm looking at this, wondering what's going on. Quite often use something called pattern trading. Pattern trading is what. So these candles that you can see here. So why is pattern used? Well, these candles you see here are from essentially they're hundreds of years old. They're from Japan and Japanese uh, rice traders used to use these in their exchanges hundreds of years ago. And the Japanese candlestick, since the 1990s, has become standard throughout the world of finance for using in charts. Um, and these are combined with other Western indicators as well. They're far more efficient and the pictorial representation of these charts are fucking first rate. They change everything. So over hundreds of years, there's a recognised set of standard patterns which are associated with prices moving up and moving down. So a pattern may well take, for example, so one or more touches, right, of a peak may can denote a trend line, or in this case, a line. Draw a line from A to B, there to there, and follow it through. Keep following it through, and as you can see, it's come from A down to B, and then more or less almost C. So the more touches there is on one of those lines, yeah, the more touches there are, the more valid it becomes, the stronger, more reliable that line becomes. Um, right, let's go take that down to there. Is that the spot? There we go. And so there now, you've got pretty much one, two, kind of a three, four, and there just peeking out as some sort of a change in direction there. Do you notice how it's come down, stepped across, and then come down? Now I'm wondering if that trend line's there, okay, or there. So we'll probably have a look at both cases. Um, Now that is a resistance line. So that resistance line works in association with a support line. So I'm just going to go through the basics. I don't know really how much you do know and how much you don't know. You could be the world's top charter for all I know. Anyway, um, and this is a support line, or at least pretending to be a support line. I don't know. So there you got a support line. 1-2 touches with possibly a little bit of a breakout there. That's in the weekly chart. Okay. So there's support line. The price will follow that trend, going no lower, not really necessarily dipping below that that support line, that trend line. As you can see now, it's sort of channeling down, channeling down, channeling down. And you've got all those touches there and all that there. Right. So just going to switch over to the daily charts. So we always start in the big time scale, be it yearly, monthly, weekly, working down, because if in doubt, scan out. Get the big picture by scanning out and seeing where the overall trend is, how the state of things, what's happened in the past, where is it likely to be going. Get the big picture. It's easy to become bogged down in smaller time frames. Have a look at the big picture and then scale it down. So just going down to the daily chart now, what's happened here? So you have a really solid touches. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, squeezing up there, attempting a breakout, which was rejected, and then came down to seek support. So you see here, in the smaller time frame, what appeared to be an absolutely decent solid line in the weekly chart needs addressing. And needs addressing. So where is that going to take me? Right there. Yeah. And will that go there? Almost. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Does he? Yeah, he does. So it's going to take that there. There. Does it go up to there? There. Go on. Fit on there. There we go. So that's fantastic. We could pop it there maybe. So not necessarily there because that's the previous upswing. Okay. Now it's reached up again and again. So this is why patterns are important. I can demonstrate another couple of patterns for you here. So in the past, you see there, boom, right? What's this? This is what you call a bull pennant. A bull pennant, pretty much, it's just a rough one. See how it forms a triangle like a pennant? So on the bull pennant, you got the flag as well, right? Nice flag down there. And that's the flagpole, there's the pennant, and it breaks out. There's a couple of ways of measuring it. So all these patterns, what they do also create is a way of estimating the breakout. Breakout can be high, a breakout can be low. The measure of the breakout, the strength of a breakout is also dependent on things like volume. You see here, there you go. And on the breakout there, see how the volume lines there at the base in that histogram suddenly burst up. So it's got to have the volume, it's got to have the strength, the impetus. That volume creates the impetus, that momentum, that impulse, the impulse for it to move up. And there's a bull flag, a bull pennant. And measuring that up, I'm wondering if that is actually going to go straight up to there. It just came short. Right, there's a couple of ways otherwise, and another estimate is also, there's various ways, so you could take it from the base of the pennant rather than the top, so you get ideas of setting your prices as things go up, right? And that again sits quite well, doesn't it? How does it sit from the top of that breakout candle? So you get your first candle, bang it on top of the first candle, and that's come up quite well. You can use other methods as well. So let's have a look there from the peak. And these can be used with other indicators, more Western indicators. What I've just put on there is a Fibonacci retracement line. Don't ask me the maths of it too much anyway, but Fibonacci is basically the maths of everything, absolutely everything in the universe. Fibonacci can be used for. It's amazing. And it's reached up there, 2618. 2618 is an absolutely key golden number, golden ratio, the 618, golden ratio Fibonacci number. It describes so many things, and it's a whole subject which has its own university professors specialise in it. Seriously, now, you see how it comes up there to that 618, and again. So there's it's come up really, really well, and in conjunction with those two lines, that makes it a solid estimate to come out with. That's what you want. That is what you want. See how it comes down there, retrospectively, having a look. Have a look. There we go, Tony. Absolutely from the start of the base of that run and down there. This is a confirmation candle up here. So you got a couple of really good solid lines. Anyway, there you go. Right there. You see how it pretty much runs in conjunction with the where that crossover is there. See with those lines, the green line. Before they were red, amber, green. Now they've switched over to green, amber, red, descending. And from that point where they've crossed over there, and it's going up to that flagpole there, and right up from the breakout to the peak top of that candle, it comes out as a great place of estimate. Now, it's not an exact science, but you can get an estimate. That's what estimates are. It's not precise and necessarily a precise number. And you can build in conjunction with these. And again, see there's a little gap there. Often these candles fall short of that Fibonacci line, about that much. Okay, so going back to the shapes, and again, you got the breakout. There's another one here, demonstrator. It's moving despite forming a bullish flag. Yeah, despite forming a bit of a bullish flag, you've got another one here from there, eh? So look at that. Take that. See how it comes down. And there's lots of different ways of doing that. That there, let's measure that. Zoom in and measure that. This is a demonstration of how different ways of measuring a pattern to get your estimate. Why am I telling you this? You need to know, Tone. You fucking need to know, son. Right, pardon me. You need to know. And so there, you see that height there? Put it to where the breakout point is. Measuring down. You can estimate where that's coming down to. And again, let's have a look at those Fibonacci lines. Taking those old ones off. Avoid confusion. And there you go. So you go from up there to the peak, to the peaks. Let's go to the peaks. And you see again, 618. I didn't even have to look. 618, that's come down to quite well. Touch down to that 382. Pop down through. Candle on there. Absolutely spot onto the 618. And see how it sits on the 50 there? See how the 50's leaning on it? And that is to form areas of technical support and resistance. But also, with the support and resistance, means things are being held up, being supported, but also preventing the candles from pushing through. So there's a bit of a wall to break through, psychological barrier for the market. Most of this is psychological, by the way, for the market. It's mass. What these candles and lines are describing is essentially mass psychology. And genuinely, go and read up on it. I'll put some links in for you, mate. And again, let's come down to that level, etc., etc. And you see how these lines, this price, kind of see how it goes and comes down, sits along there, breaks down through there, sits on there for a bit, just ranges along, sits down, comes down, ranges along. See how even those candles are there. And that's the little gap I was talking about. Always a little gap, quite often a little gap. See that between the main body again, that little gap, and the main body, little gap, right through there. And it comes up, ranges through there, a lot of movement, a lot of volume, lots of fear was back then. It just sits there. Market's not doing anything. Sits down, comes back down, just working its way, wending its way back down the fibs. Yeah. So that's also works with patterns. They are very, very useful indicators, as well as these lines here, the green, amber, and red, the traffic light lines, I suppose. what they do, they take 15 days and 20 days, 55 days, respectively, the previous price movements of them, and they're made into an average, and that's how it sets the line. So it's taking previous motions to describe what's going on. Now, you want to know about these patterns that's developing possibly down here. Now, I believe this is the thing. Might not necessarily be it. It might be more broadening. But seeing that the record is, so it could be broadening there, ready to go up. So that might be always, you can adjust, it is possible to adjust and redraw these support and resistance lines. So support and resistance lines, so create the pattern, 2 or more touches going through. Now, this has happened, it's come down, hasn't had a serious breakout really, a breakout point. So a descending channel like that is actually quite bullish, and it's measured like so. Take it from there, the top uppermost candle, the top of the wick, the very tippity top of the uppermost candle to the lowermost portion of the candle, and then you go kind of place it there. Let's place it on right on the line there where the breakout has occurred. Now there is potentially somewhere along this. So what we're going to do is, so there's the extent of it. Now how does that sit in with the Fibonacci's? So so that's come down. Just see, that's the percentage. So yeah, that's come down a lot, 80%, right, since 27th of October last year. Right, the most recent October, that's come down 85%. So 100 quid in at that. But if someone bought in 100 quid, then that's come down to 15 quid. Yeah, right. Now let's put a Fibonacci sequence on there. How does it sit there? I don't know. Right, I can't remember. I don't think this sits in terribly well because it meets the top resistance. And let's just pop back in the weekly, see how far it off is. Oh, come on, you. Don't be shy. Right, he's been absolute. He's not playing ball with me, is he? So there are other lines beyond this one here. They go up there somewhere unseen, but he's nowhere close. So the all-time high is where the nearest Fibonacci line is, really, to the end of the extent of that estimated breakout. Difficult to tell. But again, you got prices, ways for doing it. Okay, now it's going back into the day. Going back into the day charts there. So I think this has changed direction, and this matches the market quite well. It's had a little, it's had some energy breaking out there, but that sustained momentum, that momentum has just not been kept up, has it? It's lost its momentum coming down. As you can see with the histogram down here, the volume charts just come down. The volume of turnover, the volume of sales, the volume of action going on, people buying in. So that big green histogram bar there, a great bar, has just dropped off, hasn't it? Dropped off, it's nuked off. And so possibly creating a new type of pattern. How's this gonna play out? There's a variety of different ways of looking at it. At the moment, for me at the moment, depending on where it is, I think possibly there is. I say possibly, it's not definitely, okay, right? Definitely, it's just a possibility. Now, yesterday's cut and today, see that red candle, that trend line? That trend line is being tested. Now, I'm wondering if if it's going to create something else. I'm wondering if it's going to create a rising wedge. Right. What is a rising wedge? A rising wedge is a pattern associated with, over the intermediate term, a series of price rises, getting higher highs and higher lows. Higher highs, higher lows. Those lows ascending up there, the highs ascending up there. Sort of bull market, bulls going up the stairs. And what happens then is you get a breakout. Yeah. So what happens is ranges between that support and that resistance. So if this idea does play out, bounces along there maybe, channel in, I might just channel up, come up again, maybe might fall back, who knows, come up, come back down, and eventually what happens is it comes down. How's that measured? It'll be measured maybe from, oh pardon me, let's get that away. So if this is the bottom there of that trend, it will go maybe to the top there, see at the top there, theoretical top, and might just well might just well come down. Fuck off then. Right. Might just, what's that one? That one, mate. That might just well come down. Come down. There, yeah. So that's how you do it, to make the best of what you've got, what you've put in. Because I just put it in blindly. Understand how these things go up and down, mate. Because you can make easy. It's just easy. It's just drawing lines on fucking charts. It's like Etch a Sketch, mate. And here, potentially, is that it? I'm not sure. I'm absolutely not sure. Has that potential to fall through that much? But then again, you could take another measurement, and that is from the peak and the trough down there. Yeah, down there. There we go. That's just a vague estimate. And again, comes down, maybe test that level of support. That's a strong contender for support. So where there's been previous touches, there provide a very strong support. Yeah, a very, or resistance going through. So in this case, it'd be support. That decline there kind of comes up with the previous support level. So that is a strong contender for potentially how things might play out. So what we're dealing with still is he going to come up here? If he does, fantastic. Because at the moment in the market, lots and lots of mixed messages. So assuming this does play out well, retains the support, how far is it going to come up? How far is that going to come up? That has the potential to come up, look at that. 75%, say. There's a potential to come up 75%. So if you've put 100 quid in there, you're getting 75 quid back. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, mate. So let's have a look at that percentage again. How long is that going to take potentially? Bearing in mind all those fibs lines, over about a month, possibly, potentially about a month. That's going to gain some energy, moving up, and it's probably going to look to come back down, maybe break support there, and then fall back down through the support levels, testing the support levels down the way. So there's the first area of support on that support line there of the pattern, and then further support lines based upon other things as well. So you got some fibs. Put your fibs in there. How does it come down? That is key. Look at that 618. That corner there, bang on the 618. Okay, bang on the 618. That's absolutely key. If it falls through from a 618, where we are now, it's going to fall through spectacularly. If it comes up, over the next week or so, you're going to see potentially some good movement. Potentially some good movement. And I think, zooming in again, let's just go into the 4 hour. If the computer wants to work. Okay, just going into the 4 hour chart. Potentially, what have we got? Potentially, so just taking off that top there, got a bit of a pattern emerging there. I'm expecting to see maybe calling up going on. Bit of calling up. What do I mean by calling up? I'm going to go into the hourly. What do I expect to hear? That's good. Right, okay, I'll go into this other bit now in a second. What I expect to see maybe call up. It's going to come up and test it around there. Maybe establish a new trend line. Might come up. Potential to establish a new trend line from that point, around about that point, roughly where the fibs is in the base around here, these two candles there. And it might just coil up somewhere around here, making high highs possibly. So what's it do? Coiling up, it just sort of calls up increased movements in there. Coming back. Go on in, you. Now, assuming it does stick to this pattern here, coiling up again means it might use the full range. Ups and downs, mate. Lots of ups and downs. Just ranging up and down, mate. And eventually, it has a breakout. Now, at the moment, with it being so low, there is still the potential it could break low. Don't forget that. Always keep an eye on it. Like a farmer keeps an eye on their newborn lambs, especially at points like this where it's close to support, that support level. There is impetus. There's lots of coiling up starting to happen there now. And that more coil it up, the more energy there is in these things quite often. Don't forget, you still need the volume there. The volume. Don't forget the histograms, the volumes. And there's other indicators such as the RSI to look at as well, and the MACD. They're really important to look at, especially the RSI and the RSI stochastic. Put them in the description. So going through there, we are looking at some sort of what is the range on that, mate? What is the range? So if it does come up to that trend line there and gets rejected, 6%. So imagine you buy an old sell hold here, and you know that's going to go up and get rejected there, and the price comes down. So they're testing that support line. Any movement further forward gets rejected and comes back down. Sell off up there, assuming a person buys here. Sell off up there, and a person hold on to it. Wait for the bounce to come up. Wait for it to come down. Wait for it to come up. Get a confirmation of upward movement. Buy in. Set the targets. Do all the calculations as required, set the targets, and you're buying more, you're accumulating more at better prices. Yeah, that's what it's all about. And then accumulate more, so on and so forth. And then that's the thing. With the potential for it to go up, what was it, 70 odd percent? Buying around here is looking for a confirmation to come up is good. There's lots of different patterns. Now I've just seen another one. It's a pattern which is described as a change, sort of like a trend reversal. So there's a downtrend coming down there in the downtrend, and there is a potential W bottom pattern developing on there, mate, and comes off down there. So take it from there, the least bullish case, for example. Now I'm wondering if this is some sort of bullish pattern, or is it bearish? So in the short term, that is potential for it to be somewhat not too exciting, really, actually. So looking at that coming down, So it's about risk management and identifying the risk factors. If that's a W pattern, the breakout there is going to be quite minimal because the measurement is taken from a high point down to there. But you see the peak that's come down there? There could be another way of looking at this one. It's just not validated, it's not confirmed. See off there, down to there, slightly better. Yeah, we've got to take that as the trend. So keep that. Want to keep that trend line in mind. Yeah, coming back. Put another one in. Maybe from that peak there, so a little peak comes across, and that will mean there's been a breakout. Yeah, some sort of breakout has occurred potentially if that is a W bottom pattern building up. And as it goes on, where does he come up to? Potentially that area through there on a shorter time frame. Not so sure. Well, but then again, it might just come out, play out to the 382, that area. Once it does that, if it could get above the 382, it's a good sign. Doesn't mean to say it's not going to come back down, but there's a fairly reasonable chance it's going to come up there. We'll see what's going on. I'm wondering if this is over the coming. How long was that? Was it a month? I'm wondering if this is a turning point, a pivot point in the overall trend. And back to the 4 hour. I'm wondering, see there, there's the old trendy lines, mate. I'm wondering if this is absolutely going to happen. Is over this sort of intermediate term, within this pattern, this range bound pattern, is that going to come up something like that? Yeah, over that time frame. It can come up quite well, can't it? Buying and selling along those peaks along the way. Where is it likely to come up to? Where? Right, hang on. There. Right. Where is it likely to come up to? Yeah, that's it. There. It's not a bad little play, really. Will it come up to there and break out? Well, I suspect it's going to range up. Has the potential to do so very, very well. Take the overall trend. Don't forget the big trend. Always remember the big trend. So from there, top of the trend line, there, yeah, that trend pattern, just taking it from there. Absolutely the same spot, that 618. Maybe there is the target. See that 618 sits up there nicely. That would be absolutely phenomenal. I'm wondering if it's going to come up to here, Tony. I'm wondering if it's going to come up to around this area. What is the percentage there? Potentially up there. That's providing if over this coming few days, 80% potentially. Okay, so big numbers. I'm wondering if it's going to do this. What do you think? When was that? What's the date there? 4th of April. You're joking. That is spectacular. So 4th of April really is not that far off. And there's other indicators showing there is a lot of bullish case out there at the moment. So I'm believing. I believe. But don't forget, in the longer term, yeah, this pattern here, if this is the pattern which is going to play out, if it's going to play out, it's also a bearish pattern potentially, right? So it might just come along. And that is there, 382. If it does come down to the 382, there is a potential for it to drop down there, mate. There is a strong potential for it to come down at some point along the way. Where there's areas of confluence between, say, things like other indicators such as the fibs here, support lines, previous highs as well, previous lows. Let's have a look at that little peak. How much confluence is there? Right, it's not far off, is it? That previous high, the wick there. It's not far off. What else have we got in there? It's not far off at all, is it? Another one there. Another one there. A lot going on in this sort of area. In that area there. What else have we got? It's looking good. So these are things that might play out. Depending how it plays out over the coming days, Tony. Yeah, in this area. This area here retains this support line, stays within the pattern, starts ranging upwards. Even me, I hate Shib. I hate what it represents, all sorts of things about Shib. Shitcoin. But it's a shitcoin that makes money for people. If he's going to come up there, I want a part of it. I want 85%, don't you? 85% of 100, 85 quid for what? Drawing a few lines on a chart. So I hope you understand a little bit about that, mate. It's a long video, and I'll be doing shorter ones along the way. Why? Because it helps me learn, and also, how does it help me learn? By doing the vids, looking back on them, reviewing them, and seeing what I've said, what's going through my heart, my head, Tony, what's going through my head, mate. It helps get an idea of the thought process involved and all that sort of stuff. Identify, because you could watch back a video, looking at all the different. Oh, why didn't I say that? Surely that was going through my head, etc., etc. And it does help. I'm not trying to be a bloody big influencer, but the only fact I want to do is sort of, because people say, what really bothers me is when people say, I've bought something and holding on to it, well, in the hope that it goes to £1 bazillion. It don't work like, it doesn't really, work like that. That people could be making what they're holding on to, they could make it work better for them. So, on the rise, if people want to trade like the peaks and troughs, it's pretty much gone where it started here, yeah? So if a person bought in there, so if they bought in here, around about here, imagine that, if they bought in here, and over months, right, it's come down. They're down a percentage, they're up a percentage, they're down a percentage, they're up a percentage, they're down. They got back up to there. And they're no further forward, are they? But they're shitting themselves all the way along because it's going down, up. But what comes down goes up again. So this is why I say buy low, sell high, and you actually, by buying the peaks and troughs, can increase the amount of money that you've got in that journey. So the person who's bought here and just held on to it till about the same price, say, yeah, they've made naught, they've lost naught in that time. But all along that way, they could have been making so much more. So when this pump came here, they would have had so much more to pump because they've been buying and selling, accumulating along the way yeah, accumulating more coin along the way. Two, when that pump came, those who'd been accumulating rather than holding are going to have exponentially much more dough by the end of that pump, eh? And that is why. See, it pains me. It does pains me to think, oh, I'm just holding on to it. No, mate. It's fucking, mate, it's just like Etch a Sketch. It takes a bit of practice. It's really, really good. And, hey, I'm just a council bloke. I'm hardly Harvey Wallbanger of Wall Street. I'm not the Wolf of fucking Wall Street. I'm the bin banger of Bromsgrove or something. You know what I mean? So I'm the bin banger of B Grove, not fucking Harvey Banger of Wall Street. And these things come with time, but recognising the opportunity to see what's there, that 85, selling there, holding your profit, taking your profit, wait for it to come down. And if it does come up there again, buying some more along the way for it to come up, and then selling at the top again for it to come down. You actually there, you're going to be doing all right, aren't you? So you got a lot to go on. Yeah, I reckon it's going to come down to there. Possibly that's another play. So you got the potential there to do it, but at this point in juncture, you could come down. We want to see it hold support, but if it does lose support, it could come down quite a way. It could come down like some percentage, can't it? Let's have a look at the first levels. 6%. What's that there? 23% again. Want to see that hold on when it comes up, when it gets confirmed, when it reaches above that red line there, 236. Once it starts getting above those prices, what I see, I swear I'm going to buy in because it's just quite a little rush to get some of that 70%. It's really, really good. So I'm going to have a little look. Put that fibs on there, coming down to that low. Yeah, a bit of broadly confluent there. The 236, that red line. Once it comes above there, I'm thinking about getting in, mate. I'm going to be thinking about getting in. And then up to there, and then down. Right, so remember, it's not financial advice. This is about just learning, identifying places where there is potential opportunities. It's about maximising the best of what a person's got. I don't know if you masturbate, Tony, but if you're on Chatterbait, then you can maximise your masturbation time. Everything's monetised, but this is money, just easy money, Tony. Potentially, it's easy money for doing absolutely nothing, just sitting, waiting a few months, and then selling. It's just there. How much is in an ISA? What's the ISA get? 2% max, But that is 80% in 2 months. These, like, fucking, that's quite a lot more percent than an ISA, isn't it? It's a lot riskier. But it's there. The opportunity's there. It's all about risk management, Tony. That's why I say it could come down. It might come down. Be prepared for that. Make dispositions accordingly. But also, it can go up and make dispositions accordingly. It can go up, and then of course it comes up and down, up and down, up and down. Right, Tony. That's about the longest video I've ever done in the history of videos. I don't know if you've actually watched all that, but I'm gonna keep doing little ad twos because Tony Bones. That's why, mate. All right. What goes up must come.